it seems like I always have the worst luck with headlamps. So this was my first headlamp, the Nightcore NU25, and it still works, actually, to this day. Still works. The only problem is the plastic piece broke off that connects to the elastic, so can't use it anymore. As soon as that broke, I went out and purchased this little thing, the iProtect 600, just because I needed a headlamp. It turned out to be the worst headlamp on the planet. Didn't use it anymore after that. Still works, but didn't use it. Don't like it. In fact, I actually made a review of the iProtect 600, but didn't like it, so I removed the video from my phone and never posted it. So not long after that, I got the Clarus HR1 Ultra, which I freaking loved. I absolutely love this headlamp. And this thing is only a few months old, and guess what? It broke. In fact, I just cut the cord off because I was going to try to repair it, but the Type-C cord that's connected to this, I don't know where it's at now, it basically connects to the USB Type-C, but the cable that's connected to this, it somehow just broke off and it didn't work anymore. So I don't know if it was just a cheap design. I don't think I pulled on it or anything. I don't know how I would have pulled on it, but it broke. So then I went and purchased this. And so far, I'm liking it. This is the Black Diamond Cosmo 300. The only reason I didn't get the Cosmo 350 was because supposedly the 350 was a little bit more concentrated, had a tighter hotspot, and I needed more of a flood. So ended up getting the Black Diamond Cosmo 300. Unfortunately, this thing is too difficult to put back in the package, so I might have a video somewhere on my camera where I opened it when I first got it. More than likely, I tend to do that all the time when I get a new light. So probably have a video somewhere, but there's what the package looks like. I only paid $29 for this thing, which is only $10 more than this. We'll take a look at the back and show you what it looks like. 300 lumens may not seem like a lot, but it's not bad. I kind of didn't feel like purchasing a light online, so I just went to Academy and picked this thing up. But I've been wanting one of these Black Diamond ones for quite a while now. So far, I mean, even if this thing lasts 4 months, it's going to outlast my $65 Clarus, which is ridiculous. There's the back of the light, I mean the back of the box. There's a lot of modes on this thing. I'm quite surprised for a $30 price tag. This thing actually has a lot of modes. In fact, it's quite confusing when you first get it. You have to take a few days to get used to it. But there is a ramping mode, or dimming is what they call it. So it actually does have a ramping or dimming, and it's constant current. It's not governed by PWM, so you have a constant current output. So there's no pulsing or no annoying, strobe effect on lower outputs, which is yet again impressive on a cheap light. So dimming, strobe, red LED, and proximity LED. It does take 3 AAA batteries, which to me, I'm more of a fan of lithium, but on something like this, 3 AAAs is fine. IPX8, 3-year warranty, and 1 meter for 30 minutes, which is 3.2 feet. So supposedly, you can put this underwater for, 3.2 feet underwater for 30 minutes. So in the instruction manual, it doesn't actually tell you what kind of LED is being used. Nowhere in here does it tell you who makes the LED or what bin or basically what LED it is. But luckily for me, if you've been a flashlight enthusiast for a long time, like myself, and probably a lot of you, you can usually identify what kind of emitter is being used. However, I don't have any LEDs like this, so this leads me to believe that it's probably a Samsung 351. I don't know if the central light is the 351 or they're both 351s or maybe just the proximity, but I do know by looking at these they do look very similar to the 351 from Samsung, so more than likely that's what they are. So probably Samsung LEDs. They kind of have that goldish part on the board itself right behind the actual die, and I think Samsung does have that gold on the board itself, so more than likely these are Samsungs. Now for the proximity or the little LED, the red one, I have no idea. I can't identify those. So to remove the batteries or put the batteries in, God, it's so plasticky and cheap. I keep thinking it's gonna break. I always want to use Duracell or Energizer or Rayovac. I probably don't want to use cheap batteries in any lights. Of course, this is only 300 lumens, so I don't think it makes any difference at all. To power the light on, it is that long rectangular switch right here, and to change between red, flood, and throw, it is a little tiny circular button right there. And these both are electronic switches, so there is going to be a parasitic drain, but it's probably not that much. So basically just pressing this button, the long rectangular, and it will remember the last mode you used. Now I don't remember if it remembers the last mode you used if you take the batteries out and put new batteries in, but it does remember the last mode that you used. So you just hold this button down to cycle between bright all the way down to dim. I'll put it up here. Hold the switch down, it'll ramp back up, course, my phone is auto-exposing, so it doesn't look like it's getting brighter. It looks like it's stepping down right there, but it's not. And it's flickering to let you know that it's at the top. So turn it back down. And you just turn it off, and it will remember that mode. So now every time you turn the light on from off, I'll show you, if I pressed it once, it'll remember the last mode I used, but if you hold the switch down from, well, as soon as you turn it on, it'll cycle back up to the top and then back down, so it won't start where it's at. See? So I'll turn it all the way down and then turn it off and then turn it on. It remembers that mode, or it remembers that mode, and then you press and hold it while it's on. It'll cycle again, but it won't ramp back up. It'll start from the top and go back down, which kind of sucks. But that's how it's set up. So anyways, so to go to the next LED, the little tiny circular button, press it once, and there's your red. Now this does the exact same thing to cycle from the top all the way down to the bottom. Brightness, hold that button down. And I don't remember if I mentioned it or not. You might see a annoying strobing effect on my phone, but that's because I'm actually using this to illuminate my room, to get it brighter at least, and this flashlight isn't current controlled. So that's why you're seeing that pulsing. It's not the actual Cosmo light itself. The Cosmo light is actually current controlled. So, all right, press the button again, and then you go into your throw. And then of course you can hold that down, and it'll cycle all the way down to the bottom, and then top, and it's flashing, letting you know you're at the very top. Now on this, it'll actually cycle all the way up, and then when you get to the very top, it'll actually turn both of these lights on, so you can have, I guess, flood and throw at the same time. But once it gets to the very top, it does that. And then you press and hold it, it'll shut it off and switch back to the throw. So as you can see, it seems like it's kind of confusing, but if you have it for a few days, you do tend to get used to it and know how to do it. And then the cool thing is, I noticed that it actually remembers the mode for each individual LED. So if you press the button and then cycle through it, then this is the brightest mode that I had it on the flood, and then this is the brightest I had it on the red. So it'll actually remember the brightness on each LED. So that's actually pretty fascinating, pretty cool that it can do that. And then you actually have strobe mode, so you just double press the button and it'll actually strobe on all three modes, which is pretty cool. But it will not remember your strobe mode, so you'll have to keep basically double pressing it. And of course, if you want to go to lockout, you just hold these two buttons down at the exact same time, and then you'll go into the lockout mode. So now it won't come on, it'll just flash red, letting you know you're in lockout. Then you just press and hold both buttons down, and you'll get out of the lockout mode. So the beam profile is actually quite nice on this light. I'll take it and zoom it out here so you can see what it looks like. And I'll take this thing outside and show you what it looks like outside. Of course, this is only 300 lumens, so it's nothing crazy, but it's basically all I need for now. So the beam profile looks very nice. I think that's a lot to do with the fact that they are using a TIR lens. Actually, on both LEDs, they're using TIR. So yeah, that's what the Cosmo looks like. Yeah, so thanks for watching. You guys have any questions, reach me in the comments, and I'll get back to you as quick as I can. All right, so we're going to play with the Cosmo 300 and put on the highest mode. There's the highest mode. That is the Cosmo 300. We'll just kind of turn down the brightness, and then we'll ramp back up. That is the Cosmo, and I will turn this off, and we'll just ride around with this for a minute so you guys can see. The Cosmo does a pretty good job at illuminating the area in front of you, but it's not an incredibly high output light, so don't expect, you know, insane brightness out of this Cosmo 300, but it's enough. Kind of scared to go back here, to be honest. A little bit scared. Remember, this is the highest mode, 300 lumens. And oh crap. Last time I came back here, I made a beam shot video. Long time ago. The police were called. Okay, this area is creeping me out, so I think it's time to get out of here. So yeah, that is the Cosmo 300 on the highest output.